Check, check. Check, check. We'd like to welcome everybody out to the T-Mobile Sky Lounge, jamming 107.5. I'm go by the name of Cool Nuts. What's that? Oh, okay. My bad. Go by the name of Cool Nuts, co-host of Playlist with CJ McCullum on Fridays, host of the Breakout Show Sunday nights on jamming 107.5. But we want to, everybody came out today. We'd like to welcome Curtis Young.
Yeah, thank you for
How you
having me.
doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm enjoying Portland. Man, it's been a good time. How you guys doing? How y'all feeling out there? Y'all feeling good? Cool.
For those of you that don't know, he's in town. He has a tour. He's on tour. Has a show tomorrow at the Roseland Theater in Peters Room. So
Yeah.
make sure you get. Well, I think everybody that comes out tonight gets tickets to the concert tomorrow. So make some noise for that.
Yeah. Definitely. I love to see y'all out there, and I'm gonna be pushing my. There's gonna be some new things going on. Be giving away some product, and also we're gonna let y'all get a sneak peek to the album "Product of My DNA."
And so for people that might not be familiar, why don't you give them a brief overview of your journey to this point?
My journey is it's been real. It's been a whole life struggle of actually finding out who my father was. Number one, first and foremost, give it up to him. He's a pioneer hip hop, Dr. Trey, and my story it's a really deep story. It's gonna be entailed in my album "Product of My DNA," but I'll touch on it a little bit. Basically, at the age of I had a different birth, I should say. My mom had me at the age of 15 in the toilet. Actually, hit the pregnancy, and I never knew. I didn't even know that growing up, but I found that out later. That was something that kind of changed my life. Then at the age of 12, I found out my father that was raising me wasn't my real father. My real father was Dr. Trey. So, a lot of it's going to talk about it in my album. I don't want to give up too much, but I really have a real story. I'm no better than nobody in this room, and I'm a real person. I grew up in Compton. Just growing up, I moved like 17 times, and I had a rough life, just like anybody else growing up in the hood in a certain neighborhood. Like I said, I grew up in Compton, and in other places too as well. We would move a lot, so I went through a lot of domestic violence coming up from both parents. So other than that, all in all, I'm here. I'm blessed. The Most High got my back. I've been building my label, Forever Young Entertainment, and pushing Son of Chronic. That's my medicinal side of what I'm doing, and I'm also CEO and founder of Forever Young Legacy, my corporation.
So with everything happening in the spotlight, being on Compton with Straight Outta Compton with Kendrick Lamar, and of course, your father being Dr. Dre,
Yeah.
what type of impact does that have on you and your music?
It had a major impact. It definitely pushes me and drives me to do things that's necessary to do to create this legacy and let people understand that it's still going to keep pushing. And I'm happy for Kendrick, Game, and all of these, even them, right down to 50, down to all of them who my dad has put out there and put his stamp on. So. But I will tell you this: the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So, and I'm here to show and prove that. I just want people to understand where I come from first, before judging me a book by its cover. And understanding that it's real in the field. It's not something that it's a silver spoon situation. I didn't crawl on granite floors, none of that. So once you understand me, then you understand, okay, let me understand his music. So it's not something that would stand from Dre. I did everything on my own. I don't ask him for nothing. And I just want people to know that. That's my main thing while I'm doing, putting music out in this way, because I don't want anybody to judge me off of being some rich kid's son. I mean, I'm no rich father's son. Sorry. Y'all know what I mean. It's y'all pot out here. You know what I mean.
So I'm sure it's like the gift and the curse, like you said. Sometimes you get the blessing of that's your father, but then I'm sure sometimes, like you said, you have to endure the whole thing of being judged and people thinking that you have an easy road or, a better hand than others. You know what I mean?
It is that. It is that. It's it hasn't been handed off to me, and I am here to accept. I want people to accept. Is what I want to say. I want people to all the people, all my fans, anybody that's a fan of Curtis Young, I want them to accept me and understand that it is. I do have a bloodline of Dr. Dre, but at the end of the day, I'm my own person. So that's what I want them to understand. And if you judge that, listen to the music anyway. It's going to speak for itself.
And speaking of the music, I know you say you don't ask for nothing. Do you at least ask to have your music critiqued, listened to?
I have in the past, but I don't really want that with this album, especially because this album has nothing to do with him. This is something that he didn't even know about. So I have to, show and prove. And, somebody once told me, like, you walking in the shoes of a giant. And I was like, well, it's not my father's shoes. It's more for the Most High for me. Those are shoes I'm trying to walk in. So once I started realizing that and understanding that, I felt like I could do anything,
And speaking of the album, what can people expect from the album? Like producers, features, the overall theme?
They can expect real, something, that I went through. Number one, first and foremost, is my story. That's what I want to get off my chest. And now all the fun stuff, they can expect, the label alone is a lot of characters. Trust and believe that. Forever Young, you guys will see the guys that's under the art. We got a really close group, and they're family. So it's definitely going to be some hot producers. Actually, I got Mahogany. He did one. He did some stuff for my pops before he reached out, and I believe Mailman might be on there. And then I got like my in-house. They got the in-house guys. They got talent. We got C-Ray, Gifted Glitch. They're on there, and then also my man Parrish. He doing some stuff. Flo, he doing some stuff. It's gonna be a lot of eyebrow raisers, I should say. Raise some eyebrows.
Moving forward, like where would you like to see yourself a year from now on your own path in terms of just working on your own accord?
A year from now?
Yeah.
Oof, I feel like I'm already going past. I thought I was gonna get 10 years from now.
No, I'm saying we hear like
a year from now. I would say forever. Pushing the artists under Forever Young, and motivating them and letting them understand what this all entails. This whole music industry thing. It's a lot of hard work. It's from the ground up, getting them where they need to be, and the label, letting everybody recognize and understand that. These, as far as my other company, Son of Chronic, getting that all the way off the ground. We started with the bongs and stuff right now. And also the Timeless Tokes, that collection, getting that thing off the ground and moving. And just the exposure, and that's pretty much it for right now. And also I do have a production company that we're launching, and the studio out in Vegas. We just opened the studio. Forever Young Studios will be launched too as well.
And who are some of the people, if you had a opportunity to work with anybody, who are some of the people that you would see yourself working with, or that you would like to work with, and not particularly because anybody affiliated?
Well, two of them passed away, so it would be Pac and Biggie, but I would say, but they still here in our spirit. Definitely, I definitely want to say that. I would say like Nas would be big, JayZ, you know, and then I think like Rihanna or some big, you know, somebody like that's a singer, somebody that's a singer too. J. Cole is a cool one, you know, and I also Kendrick. That would be cool. Yeah.
Musically, who are some of the people that inspire you? The young guns nowadays doing it that bring that fire out of you.
I'm an old head when it comes to that. I would say JayZ. You know what I mean? If I had to say anybody, I would say Hov. Like, you know, as far as that.
So I see they put the bong up here.
Yeah.
To give them a little breakdown of.
Yeah, this is the Son of Chronic Bong, brought to you by Black Sheep. You know, the company, the glass makers, and this was an invention. You know, that we thought of our team, and this is, I guess we don't really have a name for them. You know, I call it like a Snow White edition or something. You know?
Seems like it's pretty well engineered for smoking.
Oh yeah, it's nice. It has the chronic leaf on the tips of it, and you know, the DNA is on the side of it, which is significant to me, because I met my dad through a DNA test, and the DNA is in me. So I've been branding that whole thing with the DNA stuff, and then also my signature's on the back as well.
No, I saw that. Now, this model here, is this one specifically for recreational or medicinal purposes?
I would say for medicinal. Can't ask me that, brother.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. I definitely want to talk to the audience too, because I brought this bong today, and I just want to see what audience member kind of knows something about me. You know what I mean? And you know, if they do, you know, they might be gifted with a bong or something. Yeah.
Well, that was the next phase of what we're gonna do. I mean, do you have any?
One person luckily out there in the audience will receive this today.
Well, what we'll do is first we'll let them ask a couple questions, and then we'll let you decide how you want to go about giving it away.
That'll work.
So to the people in the audience, if you have any questions, feel free.
Any questions? Okay.
Check. Oh, sorry. First of all, welcome to Portland. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you. In the longevity of your career, what would you say your metric of success is? Like how are you gonna know that you made it? Like, what's your goal? Is it Twitter followers? Is it Instagram likes? Is it money you made? Record sales? Like, what is the metric that tells you that you did what you wanted to do?
That's a great question. I think honestly, like, success is whatever you feel like success is. I'm gonna touch on your question real quick. I think a lot of people don't understand success. Success is what people like, as far as like the cars, the money, all that stuff. That doesn't mean, to me, that doesn't glorify success for me. If I'm able to do what I love to do and I'm able to make a living, I feel like that's success to me.
Right.
And I'm happy getting up, just being happy.
Right.
That's my main thing.
It's happiness.
So I feel like I'm happy now, with or without money, you know. So I feel like I already made it. I'm breathing. I made it out of Compton, you know. So that's, to me, is success.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions? Anybody else?
Any other questions?
When does the album?
Yeah. When does it come out?
The album is set to come out in the summer, and I believe in like giving a small taste. I definitely won't have them waiting like my father. We waited for 10 years, you guys. So, but it will be out this summer. We're pretty much done with it. It's just a real like strategic how I want to drop, because this is a legacy, and I want people to understand the story before I just drop the music. I mean, the music definitely, like all the fun stuff, the party music. I got some for the ladies, some for today's music. I would say like all the trap stuff, and just my real story. And it's really cool because I'll take you back in time, how the story is, and it takes you to now. So you can see the pain and everything that I went through, then it starts getting better. And I start smiling in the music. You be like, oh, wow, this is cool. So there will be tears of joy when you're listening to the music. If you really listen to somebody's story, you really get in tune with it, then you will really understand what I went through. Yeah.
That being said, what's your favorite song on the album and why?
Ooh.
Good question.
That's tough. That's a tough one. I would have to. We did a track called Macklemore. I would have to say the reason why it's significant to me, which is one of my favorite. I look at my guy Glitch over there like, yes, that's my record. Yeah, he did the record actually. I like that record because it has a jazz feel to it, and what makes it really touching is that I went through something. It was a name change. My last name used to be Macklemore. I was Curtis Jerome Macklemore, okay? And I just changed my last name like 5 years ago. So it was a change for me to honor the legacy. So that was a big record for me, and it kind of takes you through my life a little bit in it to let you know when I was playing football and what I was doing at a young age, and I never knew I was going to be a rapper. So it kind of talks about all that, then it goes to everything else. It's like a build-up record. It's like in the middle. So, yeah, I would say that one.
So why did you start, were all of a sudden one day were you like, oh, I want to make music, or what, started all of that?
Well, before I even knew who my father was at the age of 12, my real father, I was already doing poetry and, studying different artists. But I honestly, when I was doing music, I used to go by Magnificent the Great. And I wasn't good at all, I didn't think I was, really. Even the hood surgeon stuff, I wasn't the biggest fan of, Really now I'm like, okay, because these days I'm like, okay, I'm just Curtis Young. So what woke me up to just want to do music was it was a turning point in my life. That's a good question, actually. It was a turning point in my life when I was in high school. I went through something that it was like some riots and some stuff that kind of pushed my whole football career. And it just ended it. And I ended up going to jail. And I had to do some time. And when I got out, I thought I was going to be able to play. And my coach lied to me because I got kicked out of one school from Dominguez High School, going to Paramount High School. And then basically I ended that. And then that pushed me and forced me to just do music. I was like, this is what I want to do.
How cathartic was this process of writing this album for you? Were there times where you felt like you had to take a break?
Yes.
Because you were just bringing too much into it?
Yeah. I had to apologize to my team, too, so many times because it was moments I didn't even know because I would have to, take a break, walk around corners because it was times I would get angry, and I wanted it to be right, So it was really tough doing it because I had to get brought to those, emotionally, I had to go back to those times, and I wanted to show this a vivid picture as much as I can to bring the consumer there when you're listening to this album. I want you to, and that's why it's taking so long because I'm going through emotions, and it's taking you back. I had to do interviews with friends, my stepfather. I had to ask him, what happened at this time? When you hit my mom, I want to know what happened at that time. I had to literally go back through that. So that's why this album means so much. It's not just about, it's actually therapeutic too for me as well. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer for me to just drop it. I want people to feel it.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I got another one for you. Yeah, I'm a DJ, and I try to think that I am the Russell Westbrook of DJs. I'm aggressive, I'm fast, and I'm in your face.
I like that. I like that. That's what's up.
If you had to pick an athlete that personifies who you are as a rapper, who would it be?
Man, I say Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch, I'm sorry. Marshawn Lynch. Yeah. The beast. Yeah. Yeah. Beast mode.
Any more questions? Anybody? Oh,
So they're terming you as the future of hip hop. How will that be reflected in your album that's coming out?
I would have to say, as far as me being the future of hip hop, the way it will be reflected is I'm taking it back to those storytelling days, and I'm taking it back to letting people understand that there's real things that happen in music. It's not just about, fun and dancing sometimes. And it is a little bit of both, and it's a universal feel. So if you can tap into to a person's mind and make them have a good feeling, so it's a good feel music, or just a real album these days, and not just think about money in my pocket and this person following me, that's where I want to be a new future to hip-hop. That would make that.
All right. When did you know, like at what point, what record did you listen to that made you realize that the game wasn't really the same as it was in that golden age? You touched on saying JayZ was your favorite at the time. Like, when did you know that it all started going on the decline?
Oh, gosh. I don't want to diss nobody, but oh, man. I would just have to say when a lot of man, I can't. I don't want no rappers mad at me right now. You know what I'm saying? I would have to say when a lot of the music started being repetitive and people started following each other, and it was just like a sound for a whole year straight where it wasn't nothing different. I was like, wow, you just sit back and I think that's why my pops, he waited a while too before he dropped, because you didn't really know. It was a time in music you didn't really know where to go. It was like, where do you go with this? And and you don't want to go against it because it was a wave that just came in landslide. It was like a tidal wave of music that just took us out and where it was like, okay, this is what's in, or is this in, or you? So that decision on making music or putting it out was like, it definitely based on what was going on in that year. So to me, it's still like that, really. Do
you have a question? Oh, I didn't know if you had a question. Oh, okay. Anybody with any more questions? Oh.
Do you ever feel pressured to stay with the wave necessarily that is music right now? Or do you feel true to stay authentic to you and your sound?
I'm a trendsetter. I have to say that because, just by birthright, my father always been a trendsetter, and I think that's in my blood. As far as what's going on today, I really don't listen to what's going on, so I couldn't even name a song, really, honestly. And if I kind of my team, a lot of my team stay like that too. We know we kind of know what's going on, but not really. In a sense, we don't in tune our minds with that. We don't block our minds, especially when you're doing an album or whenever you're working on music. You gotta know what's going on. That's what they on, and all right, let me cut that off. I'm not really worried about that. So I don't really fear that at all. What I do fear, no, I can't. I don't fear anything. But I want what I can say is about that is I want people to understand who I am. That would be my fear if I had a fear. People to not know me and judge me. That would be it.
Not so much a question as a comment, but I like the way that you are old school and storytelling, and me being a little bit older. Back in when I was younger, that was the way it was. It was storytelling in the old school ways. So
I got something for everybody though. I don't want to say I'm old school like that. You know, I'm Curtis Young. You know, still got the young in there, but it's the music is there for people to enjoy. It's something for everybody. You know, and if you do it like that, it can touch each person to where they're like, oh, okay, he got this. I like this one. Definitely on the album, you know, I quit if everybody can't say they got one song that they like on this thing. Guaranteed. You know, and especially when it's done, it's going to be something for everybody.
What's the first song people can expect from the album?
Well, actually, the single is called "We Get Down," and then we followed by another track called "Gold Bottles," and then we got a couple other ones. That's just like these are just like hit records. Another one called "Blessings" we just did, and wow, so many other ones on the album. Yeah, Macklemore is a good one. But Blessings, you guys gonna like Blessings because that was like today's music, so that's definitely for the younger crowd. And yeah, it's gonna be so many different options and universal music on there. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I have a question regarding like when music shifted to, or you put it on pause, or how did you coincide that with the business entrepreneurship that you've taken on as a business mogul?
Ooh, yeah. That's when music and business, they go hand in hand. A lot of people don't understand that. It's the music business. That's what people. So with me, I like to be involved with my business as well. So it's kind of hard to push me away from my business side, and I gotta make time set for both. You gotta have a way to balance both, but it's really difficult because if you're opening and running a business and then you gotta do time in the studio, it's just two different monsters. But you want to be able to, as any artist out there, you want to be able to know your business that's going on around you. So you got to take time on it because the music is secondary nowadays. I mean, people do use music to entertain rather their business. Yeah. So to answer to your question would be, is to juggle, juggle both.
I got to, man. I have to keep asking questions. If there's 3 albums that you would want me to personally listen to that help describe your development as an artist, who would it be?
Albums. Ooh,
Good question.
my development, I would say Nas,
Which one? I was about to say which one too.
Illmatic, JayZ, I would say the Blueprint, or JayZ, American Gangster. That's another one. I'm trying to think of the titles to these albums. Man, Common's album. Yeah. I think it was called, what was it, Me? No, B. Yeah, B. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, she has a question over here. The young lady over there.
Hello. So obviously finding out who your birth father is was probably a pretty interesting moment. But when did you actually realize who your father really was? Not so much on his musical side, but what he did for the city of Compton in the movement that NWA created in that area.
You said, when did I realize?
Yeah.
I would say I realized, like, probably a few years ago. A lot of it showed through the movie too. I mean, it was a movement. I mean, you hear about it, but you don't, when you see it on TV, you know, or in a movie in the theaters, it's just a whole different, you know, like, it's just a whole different respect for that time, that what they went through on a political standpoint. Is like, I mean, he reached nations with that. you know. And that's when I think a lot of it was like the movie, you know, when I started seeing a different side of it, because it brought that back. I knew because I grew up just being a fan to my father before I even knew who he was. So I knew everything about him. But when you see it and it's just a replay in your mind, that's when it's like, okay, wow. Yeah.
How long has your album taken you to like think of and make the whole process? Like, how long has it been?
Years. It's been years. The thought process, when I first started Product of My DNA, when I got the title, it happened, you know, it was something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to take you back in time with doing this album, like I was just explaining. So I was like, how do I do that? So I was like, okay, we're going to do this, speak this in the past tense. So I even put my sons in it, you know, on certain parts when I was younger, so I can, not them rapping, but I will put them, it's a track called Hub Bringing on my album. And I put them in a part, it's a scene where what I went through. It was a time that I was coming from school, and some guys chased after me, was shooting after me, and I hopped the fence, and it was like a police chase. So I put them in the album, embedded in the album, because that was the time I went through that. But so things like that in my thought process, it takes a lot of time to just come out with this, what I'm doing. So I want the respect from just the time, give me a little bit of time, and it will happen. It will be coming out, and just the thought process that I'm putting into it. Process.
Do you want your father's stamp of approval on your music, or is it just you do music for yourself? Or
no, I don't need it. It's already gonna be there anyway. Because the music, I went through something before I even knew him. So his stamp of approval would be great, yes, you know. But am I looking for that? I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for the respect from everybody else.
any more questions?
I don't actually have a question, but you know, I've watched this gentleman since we've met, and being a dad and to see something with the independence and the drive that he has to succeed and not want to fall in the shadow, you know, of something like that. He has a very high standard to measure up to. For him to take that challenge on, I really respect this brother, and I'm going to support him in every way I can.
Thank you.
To make it happen.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys too. Yeah, and that's what it's really about. It's like, it's not about anything with Dre. It's anything with that. It's about Curtis Young and understanding, like, it is a legacy that has to continue.
Any more questions from anybody? Well, I guess now we get to the part of the evening where.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So how do we do that?
And don't you have a couple product lines? Don't you? You have this, and then.
Yeah, we got at the show we're gonna be giving
the
away
watches.
Let me show you guys how this works. So you can smoke out of them, you know. It's a smoke watch called Timeless Tokes. You'll follow us at Timeless Tokes 420. We just actually started. These are like prototypes, really. So it was like, oh, let's just test the waters, and they really been getting a lot of good review, on them. So we're happy about it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think how we would do that. Or we would just give, I don't want to. I wish I had some enough for everybody out there. I mean, but we just, let's see here. How would we do this? We need a game or something. Figure out a little game. I don't know, like a trivia. Yeah. And you guys can follow me on Instagram, Mr. Curtis Young. Yeah. Geoff,
you got any creative methods on how we can? You're a master of promo and and gift givings.
I got